So a bit of a different subject for me. I'm going to talk about Louis ZAMMIT and his transition to the NFL, and can he make the main roster for the season for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I'm going to talk about it from a rugby perspective, so if you're an American football fan, forgive me, I'm not going to use all the correct terms. I'm going to talk about how rugby may help him get into that squad, and also how rugby may actually keep him out of the squad. It's an interesting one. I think it's very much on the line. Probably a long shot for him to be in. If he does make it in, maybe one of the greatest sporting transitions ever. I don't know, certainly of recent times. He went through the European pathway and impressed enough to get a 3-year deal with the Chiefs. Doesn't mean he's going to be in that season squad though. So if he's not in the squad, he can be in the practice squad, the outside squad, and then have another shot at the main roster next year. He's got a 3-year deal, but if it doesn't happen in a couple of years, does he try and get out of it? Does he try and come back for the 2027 World Cup? Yeah, I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but he's got an outside shot. This is a big team, by the way. Just getting in that team is amazing. You've got star quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce's an amazing tight end and boyfriend to Taylor Swift, so he's well known. So this is a really big team, and can he break into it? It would be amazing, and even if he doesn't, it's been very impressive. You've got to say his attitude has been spot on. Physically, he's clearly bulked up. He's over 100 kilos because it's much more specialist. You have shorter bursts of activity. You don't need that endurance that you need in a rugby match to go, for a full 80 minutes. Sure, there's breaks in there, but certainly there's elongated periods of play. Technically, he's had to learn a lot of different plays. His footwork can be completely different. In fact, pretty much everything's completely different technically. And he's only played 2 games ever of American football in these 2 pre-seasons. He's got one more on Friday, which is why I wanted to get this video out now, so I'm not influenced by the result if he's in the squad or not. Now, of course, LRZ is pretty marketable for the Chiefs. His story coming from rugby, he's good looking, he's got a cool nickname, he's very quick. But, it's going to come down to the coaches, I think. They're going to have the final call on does he make that squad or not. But certainly there is some marketability factor in there. But has he done well enough to impress? It's going to be super close. His versatility from rugby may be his saving grace. So this is what I'm talking about here. Because in rugby, in the back 3, obviously you have to be able to run with the ball. You have to be able to kick the ball as well, catch the ball well, and tackle. And in American football, because they've got such a big squad, they can afford to be much more specialist. So you're just kind of doing 1 or 2 of these things. Certainly in American football, you can have multiple roles in a team. You can be in offense and defense. You can be in special teams and in another area. But generally, you're much more specialist. So they just don't train at lots of different things. So that versatility could go in his favour. In the first game, we saw him play running back, take some snaps. He ran with the ball. He caught a short pass, and he did okay. He wasn't going all out, and certainly there were some comments saying he doesn't look that fast, but I think he was playing it super safe. So technically, he was dead right. Making mistakes in the NFL is even more costly than in rugby. You could just be involved in a handful of plays in the game, and you've just got to stick, and keeping hold of that ball, making yards is much more important than going for broke and losing the ball. So I think he was playing it safe. So it's a tough one. Where do you go with that? But he was certainly a safe running back. But we've seen him used in special teams. Now, this is interesting. Now, the kickoffs this year are very different in the NFL, and this is something that could get LRZ into that roster. We've seen him being used to take the kickoff, not something we're expecting, because he didn't kick off the ground, kick at post in rugby. He was a goal kicker. I heard he could kick at goal, but not something he was used for when he played for Wales or for his club. But why are they doing that? I think it's because he's very quick and a good tackler. And with the new rule, there's none of this fair catch business anymore. They're trying to get people to run it back, to make that kickoff an event, not just make it kick and then it just goes dead. Someone takes a knee and it's all over. So they're expecting more teams to run it back, and they want an extra tackler in the backfield, I think, to make sure they can't go all the way. So I think that could be a reason why maybe he gets into the squad from that special teams as the kicker. We've also seen him used in special teams as a chaser from the kickoff to fly up and try and get that tackle really high up the pitch and stop them getting any yards at all. Unfortunately, he's been stepped a couple of times, so he got there, he looked quick, but he's not the quickest on the team. He's probably gone from being the quickest on the team playing for, say, Wales to one of the quickest on the team. But when he gets up there on special teams, he's got to nail that tackle. And he's disrupted the runner, but he hasn't nailed that tackle yet. So maybe that's something that might not get him in the squad this year. Now, where does rugby not help? Well, it's the obvious thing. He has literally no experience in American football. These were the first 2 games of his career ever. Playing in pads and a helmet is incredibly different. You see him adjusting his helmet a lot more than other players. He's just not used to it, and trying to think of all the rules, all the situations he has to be in, all the plays. It's tough just to let your athletic ability shine. It's a game of inches, as we know from American football, and maybe just that lack of inches in making that tackle, being completely happy with what he's doing, is going to keep him out of the squad. If he is out of the squad, I think he should 100% work hard for another year and try again next year when he's more comfortable with what he's doing. But he's doing a good job, and maybe he will sneak in. There's certainly a fair bit of scrutiny on him because he's coming from rugby, so things he does wrong are maybe going to be picked up a bit more. It looks like he's in competition for running back, and maybe he's the 4th or 5th choice at the moment, so he might not make it there. We see another rookie, a 21-year-old Carson Steel, who's in a similar position to LRZ, but he's got so much more experience playing the game. He's a real powerhouse, handing people off like a centre would, like a big inside centre would in rugby. He's impressed, so maybe he's going to go ahead of him and take his spot, and maybe he's going to have to go again next year. If he is going to get in there, I think it's going to be as Mr. Versatile, especially on special teams, taking the kick as the extra tackler, or on that kick chase to try and get the tackle high up the pitch. We shall see. I'm saying probably not as a prediction. I'd like to be proved wrong, but I want to get that video out there now before that last game on Friday against the Bears, and the roster is announced, I think, just after that, maybe at the weekend. Anyway, let me know all your views on LRZ in American football. Where's he strong? Where's he weak? Is he going to make it? Love to know what you think on this different sort of video, and I'll catch you next time.